What's up, y'all? We're back, the Mexico experiment. I'm Brandon.
I'm Kim.
And we are going to tell you about our experience in the last few days. We'll show you some clips and give you our explanation of what went down the last few days. So in 2 days, we went from black mold to getting shocked in the shower to staying in one of the nicest hotels in Merida, to finally being in a nice, stable housing situation. So, we're gonna tell you how this actually happened. So we've been here going on our second month now. This is only 1 month. We're moving out to our second month. We thought the Airbnb life was gonna be easy, and we kind of learned the hard way that it's not so easy. Our first Airbnb was mostly bueno, mostly good, except for the fact that
we had no hot water.
No hot water. After making Mexican friends and talking with a lot of other people that live here, it is not normal to not have hot water in Mexico.
They were like, we're not a third world country, motherfucker.
So I felt like,
but wait for it.
We're in Mexico, like, this is how Mexico is. We can't complain because I don't want to be rude to the locals and stuff. And the locals were telling me, nah, bro, like, you were living worse than the locals live, so you should have said something. I guess we'll start with our second Airbnb. Our first Airbnb was okay. We made it through. We lasted the whole month, but keep in mind, our first Airbnb was $1,475 a month. So it wasn't cheap. That's expensive here in Merida. So
that's expensive in
it's expensive everywhere. So we came down to a $700 Airbnb after taxes. It was roughly around like $650 on Airbnb, maybe $600, and then it went to $700 after taxes. First place, pictures looked good. It was small, but when we showed up, we started noticing a smell instantly. That's my first impression. I remember we smelled something, almost smelled like paint. Behind
the beds, it was a shit ton of mold. I left a review on Airbnb. So if you run into the location, you'll know.
It was in every corner of the room, corner of the house. Bedroom, kitchen, bathroom, you name it, there was mold on the wall. And within an hour, or maybe two, they notified us that we would get a refund once we left.
We left and we picked this other one that was about $100 more.
Yeah, so third Airbnb, we get to, it was $100 more. It was a total of $797 after tax. It was about $700 on the website, but once you do the taxes and everything, it comes out at about $797. So we paid more money, and technically it was worse. Like, if it wasn't for the mold, the last house would have been okay for us. We would have done it just fine. But technically, because of the mold, that house sucked. And then the next house was a little bit more spacious, but it was very like motel vibes. I actually made a whole video on it called The Cheapest Airbnb in Mexico, and you can check that out. But that one was really bad. Like, where do we start?
Let's start with that. There is one room and one bed for $750 US, which is fine in the US.
Our son slept on the futon in the front of the living room, which is hard. If you have a 2-year-old, you probably understand it's very hard to leave a child in the living room because they might not sleep, and then you can't go to the living room because you got to be quiet and they're going to wake up and it ruins everything. So basically you're like, as the parent, you're stuck in the room in the morning and you're stuck at night in the room without being able to go to the bathroom safely or even go get something to eat because your child might wake up. So of course you do that, but it's very like dangerous, you know?
Then there's the stove issue.
Yes. So there was a small 2-burner stove. Like I said, there's a video on this, but
it's not a stove, it's a hot plate.
It's a hot plate. One hot plate didn't work at all. Second hot plate worked, but it didn't really, I wouldn't say it really did the job well. And there wasn't proper equipment. We didn't have we didn't have proper equipment. We didn't have pots. We didn't have knives. The only knife that we actually had that was slightly like a kitchen knife, it wasn't even actually a good butcher knife. The only knife we had broke. Like literally the first time I pushed it down on a piece of meat, it just broke. Clip to the footage. Yeah, that broke. Then, so we had no knife. When you turn on the sink in the kitchen, water would leak on the floor. And then
the pipe underneath would leak.
Yeah. Which altogether are small things, but when they come together, it's really big. It starts getting big.
Oh, and because of that day that we had literally juggled and played Russian roulette with Airbnb, we didn't eat all day. So by the time we got to that second Airbnb
there's stress.
With no stove and one double-sized bed, which is in the U.S. is called a full-size bed, basically like a twin and a half.
Yeah, it was really small. Like I'd say the first night, we get excited. Hannah's ready to take a shower because we've had cold water for a month, keep in mind. So we're like praying like this one's gonna have hot water. So Hannah, there's a switch to turn the hot water on, which you would see in this footage. You turn the hot water on, electricity goes above the shower head and warms the water. But the wiring for the shower head was completely like exposed and in the most like dangerous way, because you're in a shower and if you have exposed wiring, you're probably gonna have some issues. So I told Hannah, like, shake it off. It looks sketchy, but you'll be all right. And within like 2 or 3 minutes, I hear her scream like, ah! And then I'm like, what happened? And she's like, I just got electrocuted. Then I laughed about it, we joked. Then a couple minutes later, she screamed again. Like, so she got shocked twice. And by then, we were already like putting our child in the same shower. So there was like, an extreme issue there. The actual pressure of the water coming out was horrible. Like you were getting just small amounts of water. So that's how deprived we were. We were like, oh shit, this is amazing. And it was horrible. And after the food poisoning and after just some reflection, we started asking each other, hey, do you think we should probably get a refund here? And she was like, I think we should try it. And I talked to some friends of ours and they were like, no doubt about it, I would ask for a refund. And
even locals were like, what the fuck, we're not a third world country.
Yeah, locals were definitely telling us like that's unnecessary and not normal. So we were like, okay, we felt confident to hit Airbnb up. I was more worried that we were gonna kind of like not be able to get a refund because we just got a refund a few days before. So I was thinking that we might look bad, like asking for refunds every time. So this time actually went better than the first time. The first refund, they treated us kind of like maybe. The second refund, they were like, oh my God.
Shit.
Yeah, electrocuted. Oh my God, do you guys need hospital? Do you need medical attention? I understood that they understood that this was a serious problem and that we were most likely going to get a refund. Not to mention the first message they sent to us was, hey, also, we're going to get you guys a hotel for the night and we're going to give you $325 to go to that hotel. And so we were like, okay, well, then I guess tonight we're going to treat ourselves and go to a hotel. So we packed our things, got situated, and
went to the nicest hotel we could find for under $300.